to me somebody.
Martin. So Martin, great performance by you in qualifying. We thought you were going to get pole position, but then it all went wrong when Eric had that brake problem earlier in the race. Well, we seem to have lost him there, David, but never mind. Martin Haven quickly getting some comments there from Martin Brundle. Lovely shots of this car flaming out. Look at that.
That's just as it eases off the throttle, hard on the brakes. You can see the brakes glowing there. And as it changes down to the gear, you can see the unspent fuel going through the engine, coming out of the exhaust at the back as flames. And that really looks spectacular here in the dusk of Le Mans. It's starting to get a little bit darker. It'll be a little while yet before it turns very dark. But the weather out there is just absolutely superb for this time of the evening. Nice and warm. The guys will be thinking fairly soon now about putting on some softer tyres to make good use of the slightly cooler conditions compared to what we had when we started in the middle of the afternoon.
So still quick times coming from these Toyotas. I mean, 347s we're looking at. They're being matched by the Porsches, also on 347. So they're not really backing off at all, are they? We said before the race that many team managers are forecasting this is going to be a sprint from start to finish.
It certainly seems that way. When they started this race, they were doing 347s. And they're not giving up. They've been at that now for nearly 7.5 hours, and that's the pace you've got to do. As I was saying before, you need to be superbly fit. These guys are doing a lot of hours in these cars. I know there are 3 drivers per car, but it is very hard work, and they will do usually 2 stints each before they have to get out. So you're looking at quite a long time in there, best part of 2 hours before you have to get out and change for another driver.
David, these guys have got the sun in their eyes at the moment. You've done 10 Le Mans, you know what it's like. Is it as big a problem as it appears to us, the spectators?
Yes, the sun in your eyes is the worst problem I found. When it's black dark, it's fine. You know exactly what's happening, you know where you're going. You've learned which parts of the circuits are clear and which parts are dirty, which people haven't gone off and pulled stones onto the circuit, etc., so you know where you should be. But when the sun's in your eyes, you simply can't see anything. You don't realise how quickly you're catching the car in front, or you have a job to see in the mirrors to see who's catching you behind. So being the sun in front isn't always the biggest problem. Sometimes the sun is behind you, a different part of the circuit. It's in the mirrors, you can see the sun instead of seeing the car behind you. You turn into the corner in front of someone, all of a sudden there you have a bit of an accident. And it could be anyone. It could be the guy who you're racing against in your class, or it could be the leader of the race.
Well, there's the number 25 car. That's the Porsche of Uwe Altzen, Jörg Müller, and Bob Wallick still pounding around the circuit there in second place. He's got right in front of him the number 12 Ferrari. That's Wayne Taylor's car. Wayne's still on board. Yes, it is Wayne Taylor indeed. And Wayne is down in 17th place at the moment. They did have a problem. A front wheel came off the car. Eric van der Poel managed to get it back to the pit safely. Apart from that, it appears to be going like clockwork. And these Ferraris doing a good job here. In fact, we just noticed that one of the Ferraris, the quickest of them at the moment, the Jean-Pierre Jabouille car, is lapping at 3:46. That seems to be the quickest car on the circuit at the moment. Fastest lap of the race so far, 3:41.809, which is done very early in the race by Martin Brundle. But that number 5 Ferrari, the quickest car at the moment on the circuit at this period.
These little cars, as I said earlier, they're a bit lighter than the GT ones, and through the corners they're very, very quick. We can see it pulling away from the Porsche earlier on those twisted bits, but as you see down the straights, the Porsche catches right up onto its tail, and I would think before we get to the end of the Mulsanne straight, the Porsche will manage to go past the little Ferrari. The Ferrari is doing good times. This particular car is about 3 seconds lap slower than the Porsche behind it, but being that bit slower doesn't mean to say the Porsche can get past it very easily, but it will use the extra power, and it will use its ability to get there, whether it be the braking or whether it be extra power, but fairly soon it will get past there.
Wayne Taylor, as I said, on board. He's a double American sports car champion, also Daytona 24 hours winner, so he knows how to do this. He's got a very strong team behind him as well, the Danker Doyle team. Jim Doyle, his backer for some years now, and a big sponsorship, as you can see from Toshiba. He's driving with Eric van der Poel and Firmin Villeth. Firmin Villeth, again, a man who's won in America. He won the Sebring 12 hours in 1997 with the Andy Evans Scandia team. He, of course, was also the World Group C2 champion in 1987 and 1980. 9 time that you were racing, David.
Yes, he was. He was racing a Spice, and I was racing a Little Curie Cross C2 car. And we got on very well that time. We had a very hard year racing against each other. It was very, very close. And he's been in the States for quite some time now. He's come back over here to do this race at Le Mans 24 hours. Been going extremely well. I was saying before that I thought the Porsche would be passed by the end of the Mulsanne Straight. He made a bit of a mistake coming out of the last chicane, got a bit of a slide on, and in no time at all he's just lost that little bit of space. And as I said earlier on today, one small mistake does cost you quite dearly around here, and you have to be inch perfect all the time for the whole 24 hours. It's a long way around the circuit, some 30 kilometres, so it takes its time. We said earlier on about a 3 minutes 50 laps. Some are doing about 3 minutes 48, the really quick guys at the front. Majority are doing over 3:50.
Well, there is Stefan Johansson with Pierre-Henri Raffanel. They're just having a quick look at what's going on there. Stefan's car, of course, abandoned by Mikelber Alaporetto right out on the Mulsanne Straight. Pierre-Henri Raffanel sharing his car with James Weaver and Dave Murray. Dave Murray, the American WSC driver, in that other car at the moment. So only one US car surviving at this time. So really big traffic problems coming here now, David, as they come through Porsche curves.
It's very difficult to pass coming down to the Porsche curves. Now, it was a little Porsche 911 GT2 car they were going past. If you had been a car of the same category, then certainly that was not something you would normally try down through there. It's quite a twisty way down there, and you've got that bad camber on the left-hander as you're coming out. But we can see now the Porsche number 25, the Uwe Alpsen car, coming into the pit lane. He'll be coming in for another routine pit stop. With a bit of luck, we'll be able to see whether it's just that and he will stay in the car, or whether they'll do a driver change.
So the Porsche team spring on the car. We're going to take a short break, come back after the break here to join us live at Le Mans.